So hello, Jota Joti. Welcome to the Peace and Community Engagement area. I'm Alistair Hannaford, and today we have an exciting discussion on youth leadership in peace, which is also this year's Jota Joti theme. For this discussion today, we are joined by some amazing people, youth leaders, who throughout their scouting journey inspired hundreds of scouts around the world and advocated for youth in decision-making, leadership, and advocacy. So, without further ado, I will introduce our amazing panelists. My dear friends, we have Nadine Shirley, a Messengers of Peace hero, currently serving as a member of the Girl Scouts national team. We have Yumba Pabon, an MOP hero and youth representative for peace and humanitarian action of World Scouting. And we have Noor Al-Huda Mahumdi, also an MOP hero. She's also the first generation of youth representatives of World Scouting and currently a member of the National Board of Algerian Muslim Scouts in charge of strategy. Thanks so much for being here today. You're allowed to wave and whatnot if you want to. All of them are inspiring messengers of peace heroes who have contributed greatly to their communities. They're exceptional leaders who are promoting youth leadership in peace, and we're here to learn and listen from them and their inspiring stories. So without further ado, I would like to invite each of them to introduce how they got involved with youth leadership and what they're currently doing to advocate for this. Maybe if we start with you, Yumbert.
So hi everyone. It's great to be part of this year's Jota Joti panel on youth leadership. Once again, I'm Junbert. I'm from the Philippines. So I started my youth leadership way back when I was studying in high school. I was engaged in a lot of volunteer works and organizations and also scouting that really helped me saw or develop my skills in leadership, in communication, and in interacting with other people of different backgrounds and of different experiences. And that helped me grow as a person and also helped me gain a lot of talents and skills as well to be able to develop myself to become more effective leader that I want, and to also follow the footsteps of the role models I have way back when I was younger. Personally, I promote youth leadership through ABCs. Like I call it advocacy, build relationship, and also creating safe spaces for everyone. So for advocacy, I remain deeply committed to assisting vulnerable children, particularly those entangled in the justice system, by offering them opportunities to assume leadership roles. So there are children here in the Philippines who were called as children in conflict with the law, and that is something that helped me find my purpose in why I want to lead and why I want to develop skills and to share my skills to other people, because I was able to find a purpose to help these kids. And I think society may perceive these children as hopeless, these children in conflict with the law, but with our support, they can transform into individuals that society can truly be proud of. And by extending our helping hand, these marginalized children can emerge as leaders in their own communities. And that is something that I'm very passionate about in promoting youth leadership and extending my capacities to other people. So it's through advocacy. Second is building relationship. One of the most meaningful ways we can contribute to the growth of young leaders is through mentorship or peer-to-peer mentoring. And by sharing our own experiences and guiding them, we provide valuable tools and emotional support in their journey. So in doing so, we ensure that the wisdom we've gained throughout the process of becoming a leader is passed on to other young leaders or to the next generation. And lastly, the letter C is creating safe spaces. In today's increasingly polarized world, it's essential to establish safe spaces, especially for young advocates who often face threats for championing what they believe in. Within the realm of youth, peace, and security, within the realm of the advocacy that I engage in, especially in the context here in the Philippines, many young people encounter danger as they push for change. And as leaders, it is our responsibility to be that sanctuary, a place where young minds can freely express their thoughts and ideas, engage in respectful discussions, and most importantly, to know that they are not alone in the pursuit of a better future. So I think through ABCs, through advocacy, building relationship, and creating safe spaces, we can foster an environment where they feel empowered, young people can feel secure to make their voices heard, and eventually in the future they also become leaders and also do or to also pass it on to other young leaders that are after us.
Thank you very much, Jumbo, for that. That's a really beautiful and inspiring contribution that you've given to such an important topic. I'm now going to ask Noor the same question. Would you like to explain to our audience what you've done to get involved in this topic and what you're doing to advocate in this area?
Thank you so much, Alistair, and glad to join you here with both Jumbert and Nadine. So let's go back around a few years ago when I was 8 years, when I joined Scouting. Back then, I discovered that there is this little leader inside of me that needs to be nourished, needs to be supported. And with time, Scouting gave me this, and Scouting also gave me the skills that I needed to make change. This is nationally. After the youth forum, Scout Youth Forum in Azerbaijan, 2017, I discovered the international scouting. So it was a whole new experience when you can acquire new skills and different opportunities. After that, you need to reuse all what you learned and come back home to help your peer scouts in your country. And today, this is what I'm doing. I'm using my position as a member of the executive board to create opportunities for young people in our NSOs. A few years ago, I had to go and look for those opportunities. How I'm helping today, I try to make those opportunities go to young people. If you check Algeria on the map, it's a very, very large country. So it's difficult for our young people from different places, especially from the Deep Sahara, to get involved in such programs. And the Algerian Muslim Scouts is one of the rare national organizations that it is indeed present in all of the national territories. So when we organize such programs or trainings in 58 cities in parallel, this is how we can help young people to be more involved. Because I guess here or any else in the world, the young people are ready to be involved. They just need to be more empowered, trained, and given the right opportunities. So this is what we are doing. Giving them the opportunity, giving them the right training, and always provide them with the support to ensure the sustainability and the continuity of the engagement process.
I think this is such a beautiful contribution on how Scouting has empowered all of us to use our voices, but also allows us to empower so many more young people, either in our national Scout organizations or around the world, to become engaged in this. And finally, I'm going to pass on to Nadine. So thank you.
Thank you, Alistair, for this opportunity, and happy to be between all of you today. And I'm happy also to meet you again, dear heroes. So to answer your question, Alistair was nominated for MOP Heroes Award in 2019 for a project between Tunisian Scouts and Danish Scouts, and I was the team leader of component project called Democratic Change Agents. So through this project, we succeeded at training generations of young people aged between 15 and 26. We contributed in a post-revolutionary context at providing them with soft skills, life skills, so they can become responsible citizens in their communities. We have also provided them with the necessary knowledge related to SDGs, democracy, good governance, accountability, and advocacy. We helped them design their own advocacy campaigns and implement them. so they can advocate for issues related to local issues and local priorities. Today, I can hide my pride. So I'm so proud that these generations of young people are stepping forward and started taking the lead in my NSO Tunisian Scouts, not only inside the NSO, but it's important to mention that they are today active citizens in their local communities and taking the lead nationally and even within other NGOs. I believe that in our advocacy for youth leadership, it's crucial to help young people and upskill them so they can find themselves ready to take the lead. Yeah, it was about upskilling project.
I think that's a really beautiful contribution you've added there on how the skills that we learn in Scouts have a great importance beyond Scouting, whether in our community at a local or national level. Now, Nadine, I would like to ask you at this point, what were the challenges you faced in establishing youth involvement in decision-making spaces?
Yeah. Thank you for this brilliant and deep question. We can't deny that advocacy for youth leadership is a journey full of resistance. So from my perspective, I think that challenges can be divided into two major categories. First, there is an internal aspect of challenges, which is related to young people themselves. So we face situations where young people don't believe in their capacities. And for this, I think training sessions and include to help them acquire this confidence. Learning by doing experience is also important, and hearing from other young people can inspire us and push us to go forward. I think also it's important to invest in practical skills-oriented education programs, and this is what we did in my NSO through this project. So we had the partnership program between Tunisian Scouts and Danish Scouts. So we invested in non-formal education skills-based. We also, I think, to address the skills mismatch, this kind of project is important. I think that also the second phase of external challenges is related to dynamics inside decision-making fora, which complicates a meaningful youth engagement. To name legal framework, patriarchy, culture, socio-economic challenges, and skills mismatch. So all these factors represent boundaries to youth access to decision-making positions. We can also deny that even when it comes to youth engagement in decision-making and leadership positions, there is a gap between different countries. So it's different from Tunisia to another country. I think youth situations are different, and work steps are around the world are different. From my perspective, I think inclusive legal framework is a key measure to guarantee an equitable access to decision-making positions for youth as well as adults. Affirmative actions, facilities, and funding reinstate equality and reshape balance. I also believe that we need to emphasize that advocacy for youth involvement in decision-making places isn't an advocacy for adults' exclusion from these areas. So having this in mind reduces conflictual perception of the issue. We need also to work together hand in hand, youth and adults cooperate in a way that ensures that all decisions taken takes into consideration all categories, needs, and aspirations. And this is what we are doing in Tunisian Scouts, and this how the project Future Leaders and Democratic Change Agents, how it was based.
Thank you so much for such a comprehensive answer on the many facets of really how you build in and have worked to realize youth engagement in decision-making spaces. Now to Yumbert and Noor, I want to ask you, what are the components needed to ensure young people are actively engaged in decision-making from your perspective?
Maybe I'll go first, Noor. Yeah, so that's a very interesting question, and I agree to the last statement that Nadine has mentioned that like a while ago, that youth and adults should work hand in hand to make sure that we have that young people are effective in or are part of the decision making process, and that is also connected to my answer because for me to ensure that young people are heard and part of the decision making, two essential elements should come into play. So it's co-creation and co-ownership. So imagine this as two dynamic process where we as young individuals actively participate in shaping decisions that affect us. So this isn't about being passive observers, but it's about being architects of our future. My journey as a youth representative for WASM taught me the significance of these principles. It's about sharing the responsibility of decision making with adults, and we must resist being treated as mere decorations, tokens, or consulted only superficially. Our voices should be a driving force, not just as a checkbox on a list of opinions by adults, but we should demand also co-ownership because the decisions made today will define the world we inhabit tomorrow. And I think it's crucial to acknowledge that young people are not immune to the challenges of the society. So we face the same issues with adults, we same the same concerns, we share the same dreams as everyone else. So therefore, we have an inherent right to a meaningful voice in the decisions that impact our lives. And this mission is deeply personal to me because I recognize that the choices being made today will profoundly influence the future we young people will inherit. So it's not just about securing a seat at the decision-making table. It's about actively shaping the future we desire. So I hope that as young people, we continue to come together, continue to demand our rightful place, and co-create a world that reflects our aspirations and collective values as a generation. Yeah.
I guess I'll go next. Thank you, Jumbert. So, when we look that we are only 7 years away from 2030, when we are supposed to achieve the 2030 agenda, it's a bit sad, at least for me, that we are still talking about meaningful youth engagement as a goal and not as a living reality. And to achieve this, I'll definitely start with the first thing for me, and which was mentioned by both Nadine and Jumbert, which is adults and young people working together. So we are talking about intergenerational dialogue. To have this kind of dialogue between both generations and define how we can help each other, how we can complete each other and not compete with each other is the most important thing right now. After that, I guess when we talk about meaningful engagement, we need to go beyond tokenism, involve young people in all stages, starting from defining the problem, the agenda setting, then the implementation and evaluation. And when we do this, we need the adults' support, because if adults are really keen to support young people will succeed in this mission. Another thing, which is the continuity of mentorship and of how we say education. Sometimes let's talk about non-formal education. To be meaningfully engaged, you need certain of competencies and certain knowledge that you need to acquire, whether from formal or informal education. So now we are talking about different opportunities for young people. Another thing also is the safe spaces. Sometimes you are ready to help, you have the opportunity, but you just don't feel safe. We need to make young people safe to contribute. And when we say also safety, we need to talk about legal protection. Young people need to be protected when they help in creating a better future for themselves and also for the future generation. So for me, this is it. Intergenerational dialogue, safe spaces, meaningful youth engagement, a way of tokenism, and continued support.
I think that you've all raised some very, very important points, and as Noor's just beautifully highlighted, many of those points are shared across all three of you, and obviously I myself agree that the importance of intergenerational dialogue in this matter is so crucial to providing a basis on which young people are meaningfully engaged and are able to learn from other people, but also contribute their own perspectives. And I think something that Humbert brought up, which we just can't forget, actually, is that all young people are different. There isn't one young person that can substitute for all of us. And actually, we need to make sure that the spaces in which youth engagement occurs are broad enough for a range of youth to be engaged, so that actually there is a diversity of perspectives, even from young people. Now, obviously, we've discussed now a lot about what the amazing work that you have done in your local communities to realize this, and the importance of realizing it ourselves. But how, for all those people at home listening to you and listening to your amazing stories, do you give them advice to go out and really develop these mechanisms in their local communities, in their national politics, to ensure that young people do have a space meaningfully contributing to peace and more broadly society? And I think here, maybe if we ask Noor to begin with, if that's not too much mountain to ask you to climb.
No, sure. You know, the first thing I would ask all of those who are listening to us today is believe in yourself. You know, no one will believe in you unless you believe in yourself first. Second, educate yourself. You know, go track those opportunities, sign up, then learn. This is what you need to do at the first. Believe yourself, educate yourself, which means you are building yourself, you're building that personality. And when you feel you are ready, start small. You know, you don't need to start on international level, big UN event. No. Just start small. Start from your neighborhood, your school, your city. Identify a certain problem that you feel interested in, then try to find the solutions and implement them. And you know, don't do it by yourself. Go and seek help. You are a friend. Sorry, you are a scout. So I know you have a lot of good friends in your circle. So go and seek help. For me, this will be the beginning of amazing future advocates that we will have within the movement. Good luck.
After 2 years, you'd assume I'd remember to unmute myself. But at this point, I'd like to ask Nadine to try and add to what Noor has beautifully put there.
I join Noor in her thoughts and also Jambert's words. And I think that all what we need as young people is to start acting now. It's never too late. It's also never too early. A cooperative approach with a good understanding of youth rights is important. It doesn't matter how big the steps are. The most important thing in our advocacy journey is having a clear goal, setting our roadmap, building the team, and knocking the doors. Every action counts, every step matters, and every voice reverberates. We won't find red carpets waiting for sure. However, in months or years, when we will look back and watch how many doors we opened and how much opportunities we created, we will be proud because we did our part and we contributed to making the Scout Motto vibrant. We will find out that we made a better world and we will be proud because we kept our Scout promise. So all what we need to do is to start acting, having the team who gonna help us and trying. Maybe we won't succeed from the first time. It's not also a failure, but it's an experience and a lesson that we learn to it again and again, because as I mentioned, we won't find the red carpet waiting for us. So we need to act.
And finally, Humbert, do you have anything to this beautiful kind of call to action that you want to add?
Yes, thank you, Alistair. For me, my message to all the listeners and viewers is to trust. And what I mean about this is to trust the process. Like Noor said, start from somewhere else and never be intimidated with starting small. There's a saying that an expert was once a beginner. So never be afraid to start and to dream. Being a leader doesn't happen overnight, and it's a process. But while you are in the process, learn from your mistakes and never forget to enjoy the process. Second is to trust your capacities. Have a confidence, but a modest confidence, to believe that you have the capacity. Be confident with modesty, believing that you have the power to create a better world. To trust others and to trust God. I think it takes a village to make a leader. So you will not be a great leader with just being yourself and just your own trusting your own capacities. You need other people, you need opportunities, you need other things to learn from, to get support from, to get mentorship from, to like people to teach you lessons. And above all, I think you need also God to teach you, I mean to give you the like for me the power, and it's God's grace to help you in the journey. And as Nadine said, every step matters, every experience counts. So trust that somewhere, somehow, things will work for its best. So I thank everyone again for joining us and enjoy this year's Jota Joti. Good luck.
I think that comment there really brought together a lot of what you gave as kind of how we as scouts all over the world can get involved in this. In that, yes, it starts at a local level, whether in your community or your scout group, but actually as scouts, whether in the UK, the Philippines, Tunisia, or Algeria, there are other scouts who have done similar things before. There are other scouts we can learn from who have advice, who have been through the failures of setting up projects, watching them go in different directions from what they may intended. And that, I think, is also a beautiful learning outcome, is that the change you make is not necessarily what you intended to make, but it's still meaningful all the same. And I think that is the beautiful part of scouting, our ability to learn from one another, to learn from ourselves, and to really be able to learn by trying to make a difference in our communities. I think on that point, unless anyone has anything else they want to add, any final kind of rallying cries, I'd like to thank you all very much for your thoughts. These have been definitely some very rewarding, but also inspiring thoughts. And obviously we have a lot to go out and do in our communities. And as Yumbert said, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Jota Joti. And I hope that you find it as inspiring as I have.